Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into the marketing information system. We're going to figure out the secrets behind why some businesses are so popular, while others, well, not so much. So, here's our plan. We'll start with what I call the customer mystery. Then we'll look at the system companies use to solve it, the 4 key research steps they follow, how they find the right data, and finally, we'll peek into the future with AI. All right, let's jump right in. The biggest challenge for any business, really, is solving this puzzle, the customer mystery. I want you to think about this for a second. You see this all the time in Hong Kong, right? You've got 2 bubble tea shops, maybe they're right next to each other, selling pretty much the same thing. But one shop has a huge line of people, and the other one is completely empty. Why does that happen? You know, it's not just luck. It's definitely not magic. The popular shop, the one with the long queue, has figured it out. They have a really deep understanding of what their customers are looking for. They've solved the mystery. The way they solve this mystery is by getting something we call customer insights. Now, these aren't just numbers or facts. They are fresh, deep understandings about what customers really think and feel. And getting these insights is the secret. It's how you make things people actually want to buy and how you build relationships that last. Okay, so how do companies get these amazing insights? Well, they don't just guess. They use a really powerful system, often called the brain of their marketing. So this might look a bit complicated, but let's break it down. Just think of this whole thing as the company's marketing brain. Down at the bottom, you see all the information coming in from the outside world, from the market, from competitors, and from customers like you. In the middle, the brain processes all that information. And then, at the top, it gives really important insights to the managers so they can make smart decisions. So how does this brain actually do its job? Well, its main purpose is to get and develop the right kind of information. And it does this in 3 main ways. So the 3 ways are using internal databases, gathering marketing intelligence, and doing marketing research. Let's look at each one with some real-life Hong Kong examples to make it clearer. First up, internal databases. This is just a fancy way of saying companies look at information they already have. A great example is the MTR. They can look at all the Octopus card data to see which stations are the busiest and at what times. This helps them plan everything, from managing crowds to deciding where to put shops. Second is marketing intelligence. This is basically being a detective. It's all about collecting information that's publicly available about your competitors. So, for example, you can be sure that the people at Foodpanda are always checking the Deliveroo website and app to see what new restaurant promotions they have. And the third way is marketing research. This is what companies do when they have a brand new question they need to answer. So they go out and collect new information specifically for that problem. A good example would be your university canteen. If they want to add new food, they might do a survey to ask you and your classmates what you'd like to eat. Now, this kind of marketing research isn't just asking random questions. It actually follows a very clear 4-step plan. Let's take a look at that process. Here it is. This is the roadmap for any good research project. It's a really simple, logical flow that takes you from figuring out the problem all the way to understanding the results. So step 1 is defining the problem. This is the most important step because if you ask the wrong question, you'll get the wrong answer. Step 2 is developing your plan. How are you going to find the answer? Step 3 is when you actually do the work. You go out and collect the information. And finally, step 4 is where you look at everything you found and turn it into a clear story that helps the company make a decision. Okay, so a really, really important part of step 2, developing the plan, is deciding what kind of data or information you actually need to collect. And there are 2 main types of data. First, there's secondary data. This is information that's already out there, that someone else collected. Think of it like reading an old case file. Then you have primary data. This is brand new information that you collect yourself for your specific problem. This is like going out and doing a new interview. Now, the great thing about secondary data is that it's usually cheap or even free, and you can get it very quickly. But you have to be really careful because sometimes the information is old, maybe it's not totally accurate, or maybe it's not quite right for the exact problem you're trying to solve. So when you need fresh, new information, you collect primary data. And there are 3 main ways to do it. You can just watch people. That's observational research, like watching how people shop in a place like Donkey. You can do survey research, which is asking people questions, or you can do an experiment, like testing 2 different ads to see which one people like more. When you're doing a survey, you've got to decide how you're going to contact people.
And as you can see from this chart, there are a few options. You can use mail or the telephone, but these days, online surveys are really king. And why is that? Well, just look at the cost and the speed. They're excellent. It's much cheaper and way, way faster.
Okay, so everything we've talked about, it's all being changed by technology. Let's look at what's happening now and in the future with artificial intelligence.
Today, marketers have a new superpower, and that superpower is artificial intelligence, or AI. AI allows machines to learn and analyze massive amounts of data, way more than any human ever could.
So here's the really important part. AI helps marketers make sense of all this big data that we create every single day, from our apps, from websites, from shopping and stores. It uses something called marketing analytics to find hidden patterns in the data. And this helps answer the biggest questions. Who is buying our stuff? How much are they buying? And the most important question of all, why?
And that really brings everything together, from the customer insights we talked about at the beginning to the data collection methods. All of it is powered by AI behind the scenes on the apps you use every day. So to finish, I want you to think about this. Next time you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, what does that app actually know about you? Thanks for joining this explainer on the marketing information system.